Good morning, Riaz here, and I wanted to share a few stories about some experiences that I had with Shopify over the last 10 years. And I'm thinking about these experiences because I'm at a stage in my life where I'm reflecting on my career and business and how things have gone, and I'm in this mode of reflection over the last couple of weeks. And I guess I want to preface this video by saying, Shopify is a company that started here in Ottawa. It's a huge global brand at this point. I have nothing but respect for Shopify. I have a lot of friends that work there, and I'm a Shopify fan. A lot of our clients we recommend to use Shopify as well. So I say everything that I'm about to say with full respect to Shopify, which, to be honest, is I'm quite proud of as someone who is from Ottawa, seeing kind of the evolution of Shopify from a small organization into this multi-billion-dollar kind of empire, if you will. So, I wanted to tell you a few stories about my interactions with Shopify from a career perspective over the last 6 or 7 years, maybe 8 years. Getting older. So how it all started. Okay, so because often I get asked, how come like you never worked at Shopify, right? Like, oh yeah, like you're in tech and like marketing, and you're kind of, it would make sense, I guess, that I would work at Shopify. So in 2012, I was approached by someone who I had worked at a call center. And I think it's, well, maybe it's the first time you're watching any of these videos, but if not, it's no secret that like I like working at call centers because I'm a weirdo. So I used to be quite strong at doing outbound sales and calls at call centers, still strong. But yeah, I was approached by someone about a role at this new company. I guess new, had been around for 3 or 4 years at that point, called Shopify. They had, maybe around 100 to 200 employees at that point. I hadn't really heard of it. I hadn't really heard of them. I had a few friends that worked there, and they were kind of like early employees there, but I didn't think too much of it. I didn't really do much research, and so my goal, my dream growing up was to be a journalist. I'm not a journalist anymore. I have many years of writing experience, but I'm not a journalist anymore. I want to be a journalist at the Ottawa Citizen. We read the Ottawa Citizen growing up every day. My dad was a huge fan of it and of media, and I wanted to work there. And so I did journalism school. I did a co-op placement in high school, journalism school. I wrote many articles, including covering the Stanley Cup Finals in 2007 for the Ottawa Senators in the Ottawa Sun. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a journalist. When it turned out that I lost the passion for journalism, I got into digital marketing, advertising sales, and was selling Yellow Pages and Google AdWords. Anyways, I digress. So coming back to this, now I had landed this job at the Ottawa Citizen because I was like, I'm so excited about working at the Ottawa Citizen. I had my blinders on and was like, like whatever, this Shopify company I'm not really too interested in, right? So I guess the lesson there, like I have no regrets, obviously, and that's kind of where I'm going to get to that at the end of the video. But I guess the lesson here is do your research. Do your research. Don't just blindly dismiss opportunities. And I always respect when I meet employees who I'm talking to who are exploring a variety of opportunities, or even people that are clients or working, like anyone. I respect anyone that kind of evaluates their opportunities, because when they make that decision to go with us, they feel pretty confident that they kind of exhausted the other avenues. So again, no regrets. I moved up. So going back again, so I rejected that position. I think part of it, this is going to sound really stupid, but I was young at the time. They had this role that was like, it was called like customer guru or something like that. And I had this like connotation of like guru. If you think of guru, you think of like the Hindu kind of spiritual guy with the beard and stuff. And like for some weird reason, people always refer to me as like this marketing guru. And anytime I hear that, there's kind of like this like racist undertone. I find that it's like, oh yeah, like I'm a marketing guru. I mean, because I'm brown, right? So like, I don't know, ever since, like, not because of Shopify, but like, I don't know, just over the years, anytime someone refers to me as like a marketing guru, I'm like, okay, yeah, you could have just said like he knows his stuff or whatever, but like for some reason, anyways, that was back in the early 2010s, right? I know the word guru is used like predominantly across cultures and what have you, and like the tech world has like, taken that word guru, but as Tony Robbins' Netflix film is called, I am not your guru. I'm not your guru. Okay, so choose another word. I don't get offended easily, but for some reason that marketing guru thing, when I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh geez, here we go. So okay. Anyhow, so I rejected that. I rejected that opportunity, and kind of was happy about it. I was like, didn't think too much of it, and then I was like, oh yeah, like this company's like starting to like do pretty well, as everyone knows, and started to grow. But I got promoted. I got promoted twice actually at the Ottawa Citizen, and was quite happy about that, and was making more money and growing in my career. And then I had a role in 2014 where I was the national training manager at Post Media, and I would travel around the country designing and developing courses for sales and marketing and rolling it out. It was actually really fun, really a great role. And in 2014, 2015 area, I was kind of like getting tired of the travel. Like when you travel for work at first, it's like, yay, this is amazing. And then after a while, it's like, okay, I'm over this. Like, I just want to go home and like be with like my friends and family and sit on my own couch and sleep in my own bed, right? So I kind of reached that point. And so this was, I think, January of 2015. 2016. 2015. So at that point, I saw a role for at Shopify, which was business development manager. And like at this point, like I was not just like a call center rep anymore. I was like had moved up a few notches. I was a national training manager. I was making good money, and I thought like hey, worst case it doesn't work out, and that's fine. And but like I definitely have the experience and skills and like aptitude and abilities to like thrive in this role. And I'm like, this is good. So let me apply for this Shopify role and see where it goes. So one thing leads to another, and I'm getting interviewed. I went through like an interview. I was like super happy about it. I'm like, yeah, like I really connected with this guy, and I'm not mentioning names obviously for privacy, but like I really connected with this person and got along, and there was like a good kind of back and forth, casual conversation, but like really like an ability to like flex my muscle in the right ways, and I had the experience, so that was good. Then I got called back for a second interview where we went a bit deeper, and I came back with like a whole bunch of ideas in terms of like, this is what I would do in the role. Have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? Like, if you're not bringing solutions to the table, then like, what are you doing, right? So I always say, if you're not part of the solution, if you're part of the problem, right? So I was like, okay, let me bring my solutions. So that also went well. Then I came back for another round, and this time it was like a gauntlet of like interviews. It was like I met like a colleague, and then like another potential colleague, and then another manager. Like it was like a gauntlet of like interviews. And I felt like they went all really well. Like I maybe there was like one out of the four where we like didn't click, but that happens. Like there's certain personalities, but I don't think it was like it was more of a personality click. I think there was like a mutual respect still, but I think overall like it was good. And then I got called back again. So okay, so like now this is like interview number 8, and went through the interview, and this was like a little bit more casual, and it was more like of a formality. It felt like. So I was like, okay, this is good. Like we're like high-fiving and like ready to go, and it was very like future speak. It's like, oh, when this happens, then that will happen, and when that happens, this will happen. So I was like, this is like done. Like I'm like, this is kind of, and now I'm like, okay, do I really want to do this? Because I have this great job over here. Like, do I really want to do this? Of course, Shopify was like continuing to lift off. So, okay, so then I say like a week goes by, and then I get a call. And it's like, okay, come in to have another interview. I'm like, okay, 9 interviews. Like, wow, this is like for real, like this is like something else, So I go in, and I get put on a chair, and then someone shows up, someone who like is a very public figure, and who you would know, but I'm not going to name, sits down, asks me like maybe like one question or two questions, and I kind of do my like, I'm young and like excited and do my kind of spiel, if you will. Um, and yeah, then like we kind of shake hands, and that's it. And I got like a really like not a good vibe. I was just like, this guy doesn't like me at all. I was like, oh my god. So we had like up until now I was like so excited, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna happen, and this is gonna be cool. And this is like pre-IPO. This is like 2014 Shopify. So I'm like, this is like pre-IPO. Like I'm gonna get a lot of like stocks. Like this is gonna be amazing. And it was like a senior position, like a pretty senior position, I'd say. So yeah, then like all of a sudden it's like complete silence. I'm like, oh geez, here we go. Like this is not good. So I'd say like a couple weeks goes by, and then I'm like, maybe I should like reach out. Like you don't want to like rock the boat during that process too much. And so I'm like, I'm doing all the angles. I'm like connecting to people on LinkedIn, and like endorsing on LinkedIn when that was like a thing back in the day. And just like doing like little love taps. Then eventually I got I don't know if it was like an email or a call. I think it was a call, because they wouldn't. I don't think that would be pretty disrespectful. So let's just say they call. I got a call, and it was like, yeah, we've decided to go into another direction. So now I don't know, like presumably, I have to just assume that the people that they brought in were better. Like I don't want to. If you start, of course, I'm the type of person that will like look introspectively and be like, what could I have done better? I think everyone does that. But I was looking for like holes, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe the other people just had better experience. And then of course I creeped them after, and I was like, no, I like totally was better. But anyways, I digress. I think the lesson here is, don't get your hopes up, right? Like, don't get your hopes up for anything, right? Like until the check clears, the sale's not made. Until this contract is signed, it's not made. And I think I was at a stage in my life where I was like kind of eking to get out of my role at the time. And I was like, you know what? Like I kind of was already cashing the check before the contract was signed. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh yeah, like if I get so stupid. I was like, if I get 10,000 stocks, and I was like, that's worth this much, or you know what I mean? Like kind of count your chickens before the eggs hatch. So there's a couple lessons here. I was a bit deflated after, but I was, and this is the worst part. It's like you can't show your current job that like anything's happened, because they don't know, like you're kind of like cheating on them. So anyhow, I kind of sucked it up. I was a bit bummed. Like, thank you to my wife, who was like there, obviously, but I kind of like shook it off and was like, okay, like it is what it is, right? So then, that's when, yeah. So then I was like, I think at that point I was like, you know what? Like I need to like do something different. Like I need something different. I need something kind of bigger than what I'm doing right now. And I kind of started to like brainstorm. And that's when like I posted on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, like this mind map of like, this is what my mind map looks like. And part of it was like, it's weird. I never set out to be a business owner. I never set out to start a business. I was always like a good entrepreneur. Someone who like would come with great ideas and like grow the organization internally, and like kind of like was a bit limiting and on the side of risk. Like I didn't want to take too big of a risk, especially I'd seen like my parents started businesses, and like the ups and downs, and like the lows, and like the real bad parts, the real bad, like I've seen the worst of it, like through their like from afar. But I also I remember like when I was 6 years old and we moved to Canada. I was 4 years old actually. I was 4 years old and we moved to Canada, and we had all the empty boxes in the basement, and I would like go in the basement and like pretend that I had my own box factory, and it was like my little this is 4-year-old me, like pretending I had a little box factory and moving the boxes around. It was like my own little business, and there was always flashes of that. Like I would always sell stuff at school, and even when my parents did have businesses, like we had like a lotto center and a chocolate store, and this is like in the 90s, so this would like obviously not be allowed now, but they had this little like drawers set, and like I would stand on like the what's it called, the handles for the drawers. I would like climb up the handles, 8-year-old me, and I would like put my arms on, so that's how I would stay up there. Eventually they got me a stool. I'd stay up there, and I would sell lotto tickets and like do like Ticketmaster transactions at like 8 years old. I was like on the computer doing Ticketmaster. There'd be like huge lines, for concerts and stuff, and I was selling 649 tickets on like at every. It's probably illegal, but this was 20 years ago, so sorry. My dad's dead now, so yeah. Anyhow, yeah, so like that really kind of gave me a flavor of like customer service and like using machinery, like technology, to like do business, and like just see my parents like, they even, they had control. There were ups and downs, and they had control. So yeah, going back to shop. Yeah, so I didn't intend to start a business. Like, I mean, I think what happened was like I, got a few clients and they went really well, and then that led to 3 more clients, and then I was like, hey, there's something here, and that's when I made the leap, and I was like, hey, like I'm doing this, this, it came to me, and then now like a few years later, like obviously I've had like business coaches and learning and training and support and team, and I'm evolving faster than ever. I'm getting stronger faster than, as you're seeing kind of from afar. But yeah, so now I'm a business owner, and it's and business is going well. This is, so now let's go to like, let's say 2017, 2018. I get a call from someone I know who works at Shopify. And this is like, they call me and I go in, I'm like, okay, like learning from before, keep your opportunities open. So I go there and hear the spiel, and I was like kind of thinking about it, and then I kind of like shook my head and I was like, no, like I'm pretty happy, but like let me listen. So I listen, and I'm like, no, I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate you bringing me down here, but I think I'm good. And kind of like, I was like, I think I'm good. And thinking back to like the previous 2 roles where like, let's be honest, like on the first one I probably passed up on like millions and millions of dollars, and on the second rejection the same. And in fairness, I probably, like, this was a very senior position at this point, like obviously because now I've like moved up, but I left the building feeling like, okay, like like I think Shopify is amazing, I think it's great, but it was like it was a bit of a sense of pride for me to be like, no, like I kind of said no to them, and I did it because like I'm taking care of myself, and like I don't need millions of dollars from there, like I'm making millions of dollars over here, you know what I mean? And so it's like that felt pretty good, and yeah, so I think the lesson there is the final lesson is know your worth, right? Know your worth. Like, I'm sure if the price was right, they could have got me, maybe, who knows, right? But like I'm growing my own thing, and I'm excited about it, and I will use Shopify as a tool for certain clients if deemed appropriate. If there's the opportunity to integrate, like AdPuzzle, our tool, with Shopify in some way, yeah, like I'd love to keep doing stuff like that. But I think what's really cool is to reflect on kind of Shopify rejected me, because that stung, especially because I thought I was qualified at the time, and I just think things happen. I'm not a things happen for a reason kind of guy, so I'm not gonna say that, but I would say it's like, it's interesting how with the right attitude things can work out, because I could have let that deflate me and like affect my job that I was at and like spiral into something like terrible, but I use it as fuel, and I use negative things as fuel to build me up so that I can do this and put videos out like this and remind myself and the world why things are going the way they go, right? And that we have this one shot of life, and that we need to kind of just keep reinvesting in ourselves and strive for more and do more and demand more from ourselves and from others as well. So love Shopify. Got rejected once, rejected twice. Who knows what the future holds in that regard, but no, I'm really happy. Our company's growing. We're at 20 employees, and I'm thinking about who the 21st employee is going to be. Maybe it's you, right? Maybe you'll reject me, or maybe you'll think you got in the bag, but you get blindsided. So keep striving for your goals. Don't let my rejection stop you from trying something that's hard or difficult. 3 lessons: do your research. That was my first engagement. That's the first lesson. Don't get your hopes up. That's the second lesson from the rejection. Know your worth. That's the third one. And thank you so much for watching. I know this was a bit long. This is longer than usual, but I have a lot to say. So keep tuning in. Thanks for watching if you've made it this far. And I will see you next time. Thank you.